Hey, money, 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 it's great to have it, but how far will it go? There's the burning question right there. And that's what budgets are about, to work out once you've got paid. Here's a waiter dude up here getting his paycheck. What's he going to do with it? Okay, so how far will it go? All these dollars, these $100 notes here. And that's what this little bit of a spreadsheet's about. Can you see we're working out incoming money and the expenses that we might have to see whether we've got enough. Will it go far enough is the big question. So let's have a look at how you go about working out a budget. But I've got another question. What is a budget? What do you know about a budget? Probably you've heard about governments having a budget that's in deficit and that sort of thing. So you can have a budget for a household. You can have a budget for an individual person or for a state or a country. A budget, yeah. So we're trying to work out some sort of plan for how the money's going to last. How far will it go is the answer. So the real definition of a budget would be, here we are, a financial plan. So we could make our own personal financial plan, or for the family, or for a state or a country. And I've taken some screen clippings here from Hayes and Harris, and I want to show you a little bit extra here. And this is a spreadsheet excerpt, isn't it? From a spreadsheet maybe from Excel. You may use that as a spreadsheet. Let's have a look at what we try to do. We try to list the income that you might get. Stella, partner Tony, bank interest, that's all their money coming in. Now, if you don't know much about spreadsheets, can you learn a bit now? Instead of doing it on a calculator, if you put equals in that entry, and this is column B, row 6, okay, if you do that, row 7 this is, sorry, row 7, if you put this in, it tells the spreadsheet what? Sum, add up, bracket, B4, that's that figure, right down to B6, okay, with a colon in the middle. And this is a nice property of a spreadsheet. You can get it to do the addition. So if you change these numbers, it will still, in this gap here, put the total or the sum. So you don't have to put on your calculator all the time. You can change numbers around, and the spreadsheet in that position will put the total or the sum from B4 to B6. That's what that syntax is doing there. So I don't know whether you've used a spreadsheet much, but for budgeting it's very handy. And then we've got our total income. That's what we've got to spend. But what's the question? How far will it go? So we've got to put down all our expenses here, all the money we need to put out in a given time. And you can do, and we'll talk about this in a minute, you can do a budget weekly, fortnightly, monthly, whatever the plan is that you might follow. But the idea, how far will it go? It must be all in the same time frame. So the income and the expenses use the same time frame. Obviously you want to compare the money coming in over a certain time and the expenses in the same time. So you want to know how much you're getting a fortnight and how much really you need to earn in that to spend in that fortnight. So you're no good working it out weekly and then the expenses being monthly or something like that. That won't work out too well, will it? So when we do this, when we put down all our expenses, come down here, and this is B23. See how each of these little cells, we call these cells in spreadsheeting, has got a position. That's B22. Over here, 22 and row column B. And so what do we want to do down there? We put equals, which is a command for the spreadsheet, to sum, bracket B10 to B22. So that's this much. We want to sum those up and see what our total expenses are. Okay, and then to work out whether we've got enough. A surplus means we've got some over. A deficit means we haven't got enough. What will you do? Well, from this one up here, which is B7, we will take away B23. And hopefully there's some left, because B7 is incoming money, and B23 is total expenses. So you want incoming to be bigger than expenses. And on a spreadsheet, if that doesn't work out, if the expenses are too big, it'll show you you've got a negative there, meaning you haven't got enough. Okay. All right. So you could do this with a calculator by hand. Can you see that? The process is still the same. The glory of the spreadsheet, which I'd like you to try to use, is that if you change any entry here, you don't have to redo all your calculator work. It will automatically adjust the totals and take them away. So it's a permanent process here. You don't have to reinvent the wheel all the time. Okay, are you happy with that? Let's go down and see what we've just done. Okay, here's what we've just done. A nice summary from Hayes and Harris. The steps now. Decide on the period the budget will cover. Generally, it's easiest to work on the same period of time that you're paid. If you're paid every week, work out how far it has to go in a week. Even though your telephone bill mightn't come in this week when you get paid, you keep the money in the bank so that over the weeks leading up to when the bill does come in, you've put enough aside. Okay, so the question is, in budgeting, how far will it go? Will it go far enough? Or do you have to curb some of your spending? Estimate your income. Estimate, because you might in any one week do some more odd jobs or something, get paid a little bit more. Something like that. So you make a total of your income and add it up and set it out. Setting out, I'm going to put that here, setting out is extremely important working with money, as we've seen in the earlier earning and spending stuff. And the spreadsheet helps you set it out. And here, just keep in mind, your expenses now, for example, rent, food, clothing, will need to be converted quarterly or annual expenses to the appropriate time frame. So if you're getting paid every fortnight, you want to know how much you have to put aside for that quarterly phone bill, or quarterly water bill, or annual insurance. Okay, so the bills come in at all different times, but you need to do this, convert to the same time frame. Okay, so that all the money on that sheet that you're summarising is per fortnight or per week. So there's some calculation to do there. Okay, step 4, calculate the expected surplus or deficit. A surplus occurs when you've got money left over. Income is greater than expenses. And a deficit occurs if income is less than expenses. You haven't got enough. So, how long will it last? How far will it go? Okay, this is a burning question. Okay, if your income is less than expenses, a deficit, or if you want to have a larger surplus, you want to revise your budget by increasing your income, if possible, or reducing expenses. It may be difficult to increase income. You've only got the one job. So you might have to do some part-time work or something. Usually a more chance to alter budgets on the expenses side. Cut back. Don't go out as much. I don't know, something like that. However, some expenses are fixed. Rent, insurance, and can't be altered. Others are variable. Food, clothing, and partying. Oh, entertainment. Oh, sorry. And can be altered. Thus, you should only consider the variable expenses if you wish to reduce your budgeted expenses. So, the ones that are varying, you can vary. Not the ones that you can't, like rent, you've got to have somewhere to live. Okay, so here's a hint from Hayes and Harris there. Just remember what we were doing before. In 1 year, there are 52 weeks, 26 fortnights, 12 months, and 4 quarters. So there are quarterly bills, water bills and electricity bills, usually quarter. So you've then got to adjust that for a year and then bring it back to weekly or fortnightly. Remember that stuff. Okay, let's have a look at an example now. Here's one here, and again the setting out is important so you don't leave anything out. Zane is a young accountant, shares the house with two friends. So he's going to share the rent, and they pay a rent total of $285 a week. He's paid fortnightly $1,205 after tax. That's good. So that's what he's actually going to get in his hand. The group puts $240 into kitty for food and other household items each week. So he's going to have to do his share of that. Okay, and from that they go out and buy the food and the cleaning agents and that for the week. Quarterly electricity and phone bills are around $160 and $250 respectively. That means in that order. So this is the electricity and this is the telephone. Zane's paying off his car at $300 a month, spends $40 a week running it. He also knows registration and insurance costs around $480 and $360 a year. Lots of work to do here, converting it back to his pay time, isn't it? And he gets fortnightly, so everything's got to come back to fortnightly, so that when he gets his money, he knows how much he can keep and how far it will go. So we've got to change everything back to what should he keep per week, or per fortnight rather, to pay the bills when they come in. He spends around $25 a week on personal items and budgets $70 a week to be spent on entertainment. Partying. Design a fortnightly budget for Zane. Estimate the amount of money he can save for the future or spend on other luxuries. Has he got a deficit or a surplus? It sounds like he's going to have money over. We'll see, won't we? Let's work it out. Right, now, his income is fortnightly. So therefore we will make a budget for all expenses and that, proportionate to fortnightly, pro rata if you like. So the salary per fortnight that he actually gets after tax is $1,205. Set it out like that. The setting out is important, and that's where a spreadsheet might help you, because it's all divided up into rows and columns, isn't it? We'll have a look at that again. Okay, so the expenses, rent. He's paying a third of $285. That's per week. But he's getting paid fortnightly. So every fortnight he has to have 2 lots of that rent ready to pay. So there it is. He's sharing. So a third is because he's sharing with 2 other people. Food kitty. He's going to put in a third of what they want to run the household for a week, which is a third of $240, but times by 2 because he's getting paid fortnightly. Okay, so that's $160. I tell you what, I don't know how far it's going to go here. There seems to be a lot to do. Electricity. All right, he's going to pay a third, but we must convert the electricity, which is a quarterly bill. So he gets $160 a quarter paid, he has to pay, or they pay for the whole house, times by 4 for a year and divide by 26. So this then is the fortnightly conversion back to his payday, and he has to pay only a third of it. So there's a bit of tricky-dicky maths going on here. So about $8 a fortnight he has to put aside from his fortnightly pay to get ready for that bill that comes in every quarter. And a quarter is what? Every 13 weeks. Okay, let's look at the telephone. Same thing. Telephone bill is $250 for a quarter. To bring it to a fortnightly payment, you change it to a year, 4 quarters in a year, and 26 fortnights. So divide by 26, and then he pays a third of that. So it's about $13. Okay, we've got to keep going. He's got lots here. Car loan, $300 a month. You times by 12 for a year and then divide by 26. Okay, there are 26 fortnights in a year. Got to work off a whole year. There's not 4 weeks in a month. There's a bit more than 4 weeks in a month. So this is about $138 every fortnight he's got to put to the side. Running costs for the car. He reckons about $40 a week, so there's 2 weeks. Now this changed it to a fortnight, get $80. Now, registration and insurance. Okay, so these are annual fees, both of them. So bring it back to a fortnight, he divides by 26. So both of these were PA, per annum. So it's already in a year, in that time frame. If we divide by 26, it'll bring it back to his fortnightly payment. Personal items. He reckons $25 a week, times by 2, $50 a week. Entertainment, $70 a week, times by 2 for a fortnight, $140. So his total expenses per fortnight, now we've done all that conversion, is $811. So therefore, expected surplus, his incoming, $1,205, minus expenses, $811. He's got $394 a fortnight that he's got over. So he can work out now what he wants to do. I think he should save some because the car might need repair or servicing. Right? And he hasn't actually put anything on there. Running costs $40 a week. He might have done it in there, but you have other expenditures, so it's good to save some money as well, and you might want to save up for a deposit on a house or something. Okay, so that's how you do it. And here's the important thing down here. Remember that in 1 year there are 52 weeks, 26 fortnights, 12 months, 4 quarters. Okay. So, please remember, the setting out is important, and a spreadsheet divided up into rows and columns is a good way to go. Okay, I'm going to let you loose on some problems now, and question 1 is not a full budget question, it's just getting used to conversions. Okay, conversions back to any time frame, because usually you want to change any expense you've got to work on your pay time. That's the time frame. You want to know when you get paid, what to do with it, how far will it go, what has to be put to the side for a longer term bill, like electricity and water comes in every quarter. It's about 13 weeks. Okay, and then we have more budgets down here which you can actually work on. Okay, so I want you to pause the presentation now and have a go, and you can scroll forward because as usual the answers are down below. And once you've done one, I want you to fast forward it there and check your answer and then go on to the next one. Alright, so pause it there. I'll show you the other 2. 5 questions here, 4 and 5. Oh, there's a way to do. We're going to work out a budget for him and see how far his paycheck will go. Okay, pause that now and then come down and have a look at the answers now. Here are the answers. How did you do? I hope you did well. We're going to do more budgeting. We're talking about car expenses and things like that. And I'll catch you in the next presentation. Cheers for now.